Well, here it is, June 1st, 2025, and I'm just now getting the 1933 Auburn Salon Speedster out of its hibernation spot where it sat over the winter. I was working on it in the fall. I got it to run a little bit, but I had gasoline overflowing the carburetors, so I ended up ordering carb kits for it so I can go through those and try and solve that problem. Those took a couple of months or so to get. So then I turned my attention to the 31 Plymouth Coupe hot rod and got that ready to race down in Florida in January. And yeah, that's sitting without a motor in it again because I hurt the motor down in Florida. But anyway, time to turn my attention back to the Auburn and get busy on it. Now, last time I did a video, I was about to pull the oil pan off, which I did, and I videoed that, but for some reason it didn't turn out. So I don't have a video of that, but I pulled off the oil pan, cleaned out all the sludge out of it and everything that I could, and I sprayed oil up inside the crankcase to make sure that everything was as lubricated as I could get it, and made sure that the cam and the cam followers, the roller cam followers, were all lubricated so that it won't be started up dry. Okay, back on the 33 Auburn V12 Salon. Last time I tried to start the car, I had gas flowing out of the carburetors. I took them apart and cleaned them up as good as I could and adjusted the floats. But I didn't have any rebuild kits, and I couldn't find any. So I quit because I didn't want to catch the car on fire. Finally, I got some carb rebuild kits, and today I'm going to pull these carburetors off and get them rebuilt and see if the car will run without any gas leaking anywhere. One of the things that's different about the Salon model of Auburn is the Salon V12 is that it has this different style of throttle linkage. A strange thing, in my opinion, to do differently for a Salon model versus the custom or the standard. But that's what they did. Okay, I'm going to give you a little pointer here. So let's say I'm trying to work one-handed with my left hand while I hold the camera. So let's say you got to loosen up one of these fuel fittings. Okay, first of all, you want to use a flare nut wrench or a line wrench, because a good one, because it goes all the way around the nut, so you're less likely to strip it out than if you use a crowfoot open end wrench. And then the other thing is, if you put this wrench on there and you just start pressing down on it, you're going to put pressure on where this brass fitting threads into this zinc carburetor body, and you risk damaging this from that pressure. So what you always want to do is put a wrench on that fitting and orient it so that this one's higher than that one, so you can just kind of squeeze them together and loosen it without putting any pressure on the carb body. Then you won't break the carb body. Everything's disconnected so that carburetor's ready to remove. Got some rags around where I disconnected the fuel line fittings in case any fuel spills out, which a little bit did. And then I put this old blanket around so that if I drop any little pieces, they don't go down in some little crevice where you just can't find them. So ready to just take this thing off of there. Yep, everything's disconnected. We'll take a look at that carburetor. EX2, Strongberg EX2. This is really hard to find a kit for. I had to get a kit from the carb shop, and he had quite a backlog, so he had unfortunately had a medical issue which put him out of work for a while, and so I had to wait till he was recovered and got this kit built for me, but now I have it. Here's the carburetor kit for the Stromberg EX2, a CS 1193. Not sure what we're going to find in it. A couple of base gaskets, it looks like. Body gaskets. Needle and seat assemblies. I was wondering if I'd get those. Some miscellaneous seals for something. Not sure why we got 4 of those. Okay, well, we'll see how all these compare. Oh, looks like we got new idle mixture screws and new accelerator pumps. What I like to do when I'm going to start in on something like this is I get a clean sheet of paper and I spread it out over the workbench, so it helps me see little parts and pieces that I take off. And I like to get a coffee can to put all the pieces in that I take off of there so I don't lose track of them. And I like to photograph the carburetor really well from every possible angle, so if I need a reminder of how it goes back together, I have that. Let's see what it says here. Stromberg carburetor, South Bend, USA, patent numbers. It's got a lot of little screws sticking out of it. I'll have to figure out what all of that stuff is for. Looks like the base, the throttle body separates from the top body there. Yeah, I'll take it apart. And recording little details during disassembly is important. Thin washer, arm, I'll say the operator arm, the pump arm, thick washer, wrinkle washer, so I can get them all back in the right order. From down in the accelerator pump well, I removed this little thing which appears to be a check valve. So I don't know if there's one of those in the kit. If not, I'll just clean that up really good and blow through it and make sure that it's operating. Not sure what this thing is down here. Maybe it's a power valve or enrichment valve. I'm going to take it out. So I have a dilemma with that little power valve thing down there. A 7/16 socket is too small, and a 1/2 inch won't fit down in there, and it seems like it's too big. But I think I should get it out so I can see what it is and check it out. I have an idea. About 25 years ago, I bought these 2 boxes of old carburetor tools at a state auction, and I have as of yet to find any use for them, but maybe there's something here that will work for this. Okay, nothing in the first kit fit. I'll take a look in here. A lot of strange tools. $15.30 seconds. Well, that's halfway between 7/16 and half. Viola, it fits. Ha, I can't believe it. Proof positive that it pays to be a hoarder. Okay, so I got that thing out of there. It looks like a little check valve, and I sucked on it and blew through it and figured out it's basically a one-way check valve, and it seals pretty good, but I was able to get just a little bit of air going through in the wrong direction. But I don't see that there's one in the kit, so I have no choice but to reuse it. This one down at the bottom of the float bowl has got a fiber washer under it and something down there, maybe a jet or something. Good news, the long hoarded carburetor tool kit has not failed to produce a socket to get that jet out of here. Look at the shape of that thing. How would I ever have got that out of there? I would have left it in. I'm so happy about these tools actually being here and available for me to do this job. While I was looking down the throat for a screw or something holding this together, I found a jet sticking into the venturi area that threads in down in there. So I'm going to go back to the handy hoarder toolbox and see if there's a tool that'll get that out. Okay, I got that jet loose. What I did is I didn't find a special tool for it, but I took a screwdriver and I ground it to just the right width, and then I shortened the tip until because the tip is tapered, I shortened it till the remaining thickness just fit precisely in that groove of this brass jet so that I wouldn't ruin the slot in it. Well, I got that little rascal out of there, and it's pretty obvious that the hole in the tip is plugged up. So it's a good thing I got that out so I can get that all cleaned up and cleared out. Otherwise this car definitely would not have run properly. Okay, the carburetor rebuilding job is done, except I haven't put the air cleaners back on. So the question now is, will it start? Will they work right? Will they leak? Will they overflow gas? Will it purr like a kitten? We'll find out pretty soon. Thanks for watching.